What a game. One of the best baseball games I have ever in my life seen, and it just wrapped up. Absolutely incredible, Alex.
I mean, this was a crazy game from the first inning all the way to the end. It was a back-and-forth battle. USA coming through with the comeback of the tournament, possibly the play of the tournament from Trey Turner, the hero of the game, a grand slam to send USA to the semifinals.
We got a lot to discuss this episode. Obviously, everything you need to know about this USA versus Venezuela game. One of the wildest atmospheres you will ever see and experience. One of the best games you will ever see. Some questionable decisions. An injury that we'll update you guys on, and then everything coming your way in the next couple days in the WBC. Top moments from the quarterfinals now that they're all wrapped up. Man, but this game that just finished up was all about that Trey Turner grand slam. Team USA was winning the entire game.
Yep. Falls
behind. Looks a little bit down and out. You know, they kind of looked like they were up against it there for a couple of innings. When Trey Turner came up in one of those moments, you don't often get games. This is why I say this is one of the greatest games I've ever seen. You don't often get games where you get a moment where you can tell it's a moment, right?
Yeah.
Trey Turner coming up, bases loaded, nobody out, pitching change that allowed the moment to build, but you knew that was a moment. You don't often get games where you get this sort of exclamation on a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like this. Trey Turner, the dugout went nuts. They like everybody else in this tournament, huge home run. They're out of the dugout. It was almost like a walk-off home run. I couldn't believe it. Trey Turner for president of the United States. I don't care that he's not old enough. Make it happen.
The craziest thing is on an 0-2 count as well. He was my player to watch this game. I said, if he can get it together in that 9 spot and go off, this team is going to win tonight. What adjustment did you see him make in that moment being 0-2 in the count?
Yeah, honestly, it just wasn't a good pitch. A guy gets ahead 0-2. Trey Turner, obviously, you get behind 0-2, bases loaded, nobody out. Your one job, right? You have one job, especially as Trey Turner, who's one of the fastest guys in Major League Baseball. Yeah. Your one job is to put the ball in play. So that's what happened for him. He shortened up, had a different approach, was ready to attack the ball, and the pitcher threw a pitch that was 84 miles an hour, didn't break like he wanted it to, and just cement mixed right there up into the middle of the zone. And Trey Turner turned on it, and an absolute no-doubter. I mean, the left fielder didn't even give it an effort. Just kind of looked up and waved it a goodbye on its way out while Trey Turner was going nuts. The adjustment for me was as much of Trey Turner just shortening up in an 0-2 count and trying to put the ball in play, but that pitcher did not make a good pitch, and he paid for it.
I mean, what a moment. Not just for Team USA, but for Trey Turner. One swing of the bat, he sent this USA team to the semifinals. But they came out swinging early.
Yeah,
USA struck in the first with 3 runs and really just capitalized on a lot of opportunities early. It was, like I said, it was a back-and-forth battle. U.S. started here, a little bit of a slump mid-game, and then obviously that 8th inning right back in it.
So it started off, this game kind of felt like, okay, Venezuela's been the kings of the WBC so far, at least in the United States, running through the pool of death. They've looked great the whole time. USA hasn't exactly looked like they've clicked yet.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a questionable matchup for Team USA. They come out immediately, 5 straight hits to start the game. Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, Kyle Tucker, all back-to-back hits to start the game. 3-0 ball game. Basically, before you can even sit down, I did get a little bit worried there because it felt like with the way the game started, after the end of that first inning, it should have been more like 5-0.
Yeah.
You look up and it's 3-0, and you're like, oh, boy, they could get back in this quickly, and they did. Immediately that next inning, Luis Arraez with a massive 2-run homer to get them right back in it. And from there, the game was really never a comfortable feeling the whole way throughout.
No, and then Venezuela in that 5th inning took that 6-5 lead. But we got to talk about Luis Arraez. You mentioned his home run. This was the first time he's ever had a multi-home run game in his career.
389 MLB games, Alex. 389 Major League games for Luis Arraez, and countless in the minor leagues. and never once in his career has he had a 2-home run game. Never once. And these weren't cheapies.
No.
That second one was like light tower power. That ball was absolutely launched. Luis Arraez apparently likes hitting in this ballpark, which fittingly enough is his new home now with the Marlins, so he'll be in good shape there. Marlins fans have to like what they're seeing. But, yeah, he hits a home run. He hits the go-ahead home run. Or, no, they were already ahead, and then he hits that second one, and that's the one that kind of felt like when it was a one-run game, you're like, okay, this offense can get back in it. Mm-hmm. When they went up that 2, the feeling immediately deflated. Immediately you get deflated.
Yeah. I want to go back, though, again to that 5th inning, because USA put Daniel Bard on the mound. First of all, after the 3 batters he faced, he should have been pulled. He was all over the place. He couldn't find the strike zone, gave up 4 earned runs, 2 walks, hit 2 batters, including Jose Altuve, who had to leave the game. We'll update you on that injury in just a moment. Why wasn't he pulled sooner in that moment?
Alex, I am so glad we're able to have this conversation after Team USA victory.
Yeah.
Because I was not pleased. I am not pleased in the way that whole inning went down.
Yeah.
And I had quite a bit to say about it. Now it's a little bit of a better feel. But look, Daniel Bard is on the team. I don't fault Mark DeRosa for bringing him in the game, right? You wanted to get 5-6 innings out of Lance Lynn. That didn't happen. For whatever reason, the White Sox might have put him on a pitch count, or he might have said, hey, I'm done.
Yeah.
Which is fair to say. However, it is completely okay to bring Daniel Bard in the game, to find an inning, to scratch away an inning, to get to the back end of the bullpen. However, Daniel Bard has a past, right? And for those that don't know, Daniel Bard is one of the most prominent cases of the yips in Major League Baseball history, right? Went through the yips, was down and out, really struggled, out of the game, and has had a miraculous comeback to Major League Baseball and pitched really well last year. But everybody that knows that story, that was watching this game tonight, the thought goes, oh no. And it's not a good feeling. It actually really sucks, and it's heartbreaking to see. But he wasn't just missing the zone by a couple inches or even a foot. He was missing by feet, not even coming close. And then he hits Jose Altuve in the hand, and that was the 3rd batter faced. So, right, the answer to your question is, okay, we saw after the first 2 batters, this guy's he might have reverted back to
all over
something's going on here.
Yeah.
We need to figure this out. But the 3-batter minimum rule does exist in this World Baseball Classic. Same rules as last year in Major League Baseball. So he had to face that next batter. Ends up hitting Jose Altuve, bases loaded, nobody out, and then he stayed in for another batter. And to me, that's the inexcusable mistake here.
Yeah.
That's where the inexperience of Mark DeRosa came into play, unfortunately. And Mark DeRosa has never managed. In fact, nobody on the coaching staff has ever coached in the big leagues. Now, I think it's okay for a guy like King Griffey Jr. to be a hitting coach and Andy Pettitte to be a pitching coach. But to be a manager, the guy that's making the decisions out on the field, look, I adamantly disagree with that decision to keep Daniel Bard out there when it looked like he was struggling and there was something more going on than just him missing the zone by a couple of inches. So what I would have done after that first 2 batters, right? Pitching mound visit. Yeah. Go out there. Get your coach, get Andy Pettitte to call up to the bullpen, get somebody loose out there. Yeah. Okay? I'm going to walk as slowly as I possibly can out to the mound. Yeah. While that guy's going. Okay? I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to try and calm him down. If that works, great. Mm-hmm. Walk back to the dugout, hit Jose Altuve. After that, he's out. Again, slow walk out to the pitcher's mound, talk to him for a second, make the call to the bullpen, get him out of that game. That was the mistake of the game. Luckily, the United States of America's lineup and Trey Turner bailed out Mark DeRosa from that decision, and we're all happy and everything's hunky-dory. But that was a mistake, and it almost cost the United States this tournament.
It just felt irresponsible. As you were watching that inning in that moment, you felt like someone was going to get hurt because he could not find the strike zone. Yep. And someone did. Jose Altuve got hit by his pitch. Ken Rosenthal reported that the initial concern is a broken right thumb. you take him out immediately after that. You just went down your whole take as to why it was the wrong call. I also agree. It just felt incredibly irresponsible and a no-brainer in that moment. But as you said, the positive thing, Trey Turner bailed him out, bailed USA out of that situation, and they're headed to the semifinals.
They are moving on. You mentioned Jose Altuve and his injury. Ken Rosenthal did report the initial thought is a broken right thumb. Not confirmed, but that is the initial thought. That will, they're going to let us know tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
But nothing is. Here's Ken Rosenthal's tweet. As I just reported on broadcast, initial concern with Jose Altuve is that he has a broken right thumb. Not confirmed at this point. Astros will provide more information tomorrow. I'm going to be honest, watching that live, hearing thumb, I knew something was broken. I thought it was either a wrist or a hand.
Yeah.
Look, obviously nothing broken is good, but hopefully none of that is true and it ends up being a false alarm. But if it is a thumb, I'm thankful that it's not a hand or a wrist, but Altuve is going to miss some time.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking injury. One that, that's why this whole situation is really tough, and the decision to leave him in is tough, because not only was Daniel Bard going through something that he has gone through in the past, you can't tell me that wasn't a little bit of the yips going on out there.
Yeah.
I don't even like talking about it, but you can't tell me it wasn't. He was going through something, and then after that injury, to keep him out there for another batter, but we got bailed out. Trey Turner, what a baseball game, Alex. I can't stress this enough. This was one of the best baseball games I have ever seen. It had it all. It starts with the energy, the passion that both teams were playing with.
Yep.
I got goosebumps on Trey Turner's home run, and then seeing Mike Trout and the rest of the team jumping out of the dugout onto the field, mobbing him at home plate during the game. It wasn't a walk-off. I loved every second of this game, the back and forth, and now Team USA advances to play Cuba tomorrow in the semifinal matchup.